your headers. So you're telling us the story of your headers. You're dealing with Borla, and Borla says to you, listen, I mean, we can't do these headers free unless you give us a 500 unit order. You say, terrific, I'll take it. The most they could produce, their capacity's 50 units a month. You say, terrific. You start talking about it on forums, and you're already back ordered 50 units before it starts. But so I'm curious. I guess the issue is somewhere, or the issues, and you can tell me if I'm missing it, are somewhere between sound, back pressure, and free flowing.
Yes, the headers we built were made for racing, so there was no compromise. We had a merge collector, which was a very expensive way to build a collector, but it was probably worth 15 or 20 horsepower just for that collector. And so we made these headers for Corvette, and they were right off of our race car. And so we started making them one at a time. And when Borla gave me a call, the whole idea was that I had to buy 500 sets of headers. And now our headers went from the engine all the way back to the muffler. So it was a complete X-pipe, everything, all the way back to the muffler. And later on, we built the muffler too. But so we built all this stuff. I sent it out to Borla. They signed a non-compete and a non-disclosure. But they did tell me that if you don't sell 500, I said, I'll sell 500 no matter what. I'm putting my house up for mortgage if I have to. And it's funny, too, because every single credit card offer that came in the mail, I told my wife to sign it and send it in. We had so many credit cards because we thought we'd have to use them for these headers. But we were constantly on back order. We never had to take a penny out of pocket. And we were able to, I was constantly on the phone to Borla. When are you going to ship? I've got 50 on back order. When are you going to ship? And they'd ship 50, and I'd get another 50 on back order. So that year we sold 600 instead of 500. The next year we sold 1,000, and we just kept selling 1,000 a year or 1,500 a year. And we used to sell them for $39.95 because we were hand making them. Borla came in and they said that they would make them for $600. And so we lowered the price to $19.95, which made them really desirable. And yeah, Borla ended up going up on their price, but we ended up making a lot of money. And so we just kept investing that money into new parts, drop spindles, drag spindles, brake kits, suspension parts, spherical bearings in the suspension. Everything that we built for the race car, we built for the street car. But those headers, those were our gold mine. Those were the injection that we needed to turn us into a big company. So it was awesome. Borla made some mufflers for us also, and we ended up using 2 or 3 different manufacturers eventually. But our focus was we call them Pro Long Tube headers. And that name, somebody on the internet said, LG Motorsports, Gigliotti is making production long tubes. They're going to be made by Borla, so they're a production long tube. And they got tired of saying production, so they started calling them Pro Long Tubes. And so that's how it got the name, the Pro Long Tube headers, production long tube headers. So, and we kept that name, and it was a great hit. But that was one of the good things that, built us up into a big company.
Now, what does a collector do?
It collects the exhaust from 4 pipes, and the 4 pipes, depending on the firing order, it'll be like 1342, 1342, 1342, and the merge collector next down, and then it would expand out, so it would give you like a velocity change, and then it would create a vacuum. And so one exhaust would pull the exhaust out of another exhaust and another exhaust. And so each exhaust would pull the next exhaust out. So the merge collector was made by race teams. It was made by a bunch of different really good race teams. And we used it on our race car, and then we just mass produced it. So eventually we got an investment casting made so we could cast the collector, which used to cost us $500 for each side, and by doing a casting it cost us $50 for the pair. But it was still 304 stainless. We always went with 304 stainless. So, but I don't own that company anymore, and God bless America. It was just one more thing that I was able to sell besides my wife and kids.
This has been Jeff Stearns, Connected Through Cars.